What is up, guys? It is Gaz, and welcome to the ultimate Plague Star guide for 2019 and forward. As long as none of this stuff gets nerfed, that is. So, I have a all-inclusive video for you guys today. We're going to be going over the best strategies for farming Plague Star, getting that instantly built Forma. I'm going to go over all the arcanes you can get. I'm going to give you some zaw builds for the new Plague parts, or not the new Plague parts, but the Plague parts in general. The only Plague part we will not be going over is we will not be going over a Plague Kiwar Scythe, because I do not think those are worth building personally, but we will be going over a Plague Kiwar Staff, which is worth building. But first off, let's get into this event. So, this event is roughly going to be live for about 12 days on all platforms, and the way that you start getting ready for this event is you actually go over to the Nakak NPC. She actually has a special thing called Operational Supplies. Do not click on Browse Wares. It's not what you're looking for with her. Click Operational Supplies, guys. You will start as a neutral, at neutral level, so you can only get like 1,000 rep at that level. That means you're going to need to run Plague Star without any of the poisons or catalyst at first. You actually get the blueprint for the Eidolon Phylaxis from her, so you need to purchase this, guys, to upgrade the difficulty of the mission. You're also going to be getting the Infested Catalyst from the Bio Lab in your clan dojo. So make sure you're in a clan, join a clan if you're not in one, and get that Infested Catalyst, because those are the two things you're going to need to upgrade the difficulty of this mission and give you more reputation per completion, guys. So basically the way this works, the more bosses you kill for Plague Star, the more reputation you get for that mission. And if you do the full maximum difficulty, it gives you 3,000 reputation, and 3,000 reputation is how much one fully built Forma costs, guys. So when you get it down to like a science of getting this down as quickly as possible and knocking out this mission, you can get a fully built Forma once every like roughly like 8 to 9 minutes. For solo, you can do it in like 8 minutes. For a squad, you could definitely do it faster. We're going to be going over mostly a solo strategy for today, but we'll be also going over team compositions for if you're running with friends, which I would recommend, because to get the maximum difficulty, you need to put in 4 of these Eidolon Phylaxis. You need to put in 4 of the Infested Catalyst, guys. So having 4 people in your squad is going to make it a lot easier to actually, because you need to farm resources to build this stuff. So it's going to be a lot easier on you if you actually play with some friends. So let's quickly get into it. I'm going to be giving you guys some information on how to destroy this boss as quickly as possible. But let's first just put up a solo run I did a little bit earlier. So completely solo. The gear we're using here, we're using the Nova Prime Warframe. We're using the Pyrana Prime. We are using the Sarpa melee weapon, and we're also using the Rubico Prime Sniper. The Rubico Prime Sniper is not important for this at all, but Nova Prime Warframe, Pyrana Prime Pistol, and Sarpa melee are very important for this solo strategy. So I'm going to quickly show you guys how this mission goes. Quickly, here's the Sarpa build. Only mods that are important are Shattering Impact and Attack Speed. Notice we don't have pressure. Well, we do have pressure point in here, but pressure point's not important at all. So the way this mission starts, guys, you actually go out into the plains after turning on the bounty from Kanzu. It's the Plague Star bounty. Immediately once you go out there, there will be a marked cave on the map. You need to run into that cave. Most likely the host will be doing this, because the host will be loading in fastest. And then go into there and grab the toxin, which is the first step of this bounty. It will be deep in the cave. Just go in there, grab it, and get your butt out of the cave. In this solo run, my mouse wasn't working, so this is me literally doing the entire mission like with my keyboard, and I usually have buttons on the side of my mouse, but Razor Synapse is a piece of garbage sometimes, so Razor Synapse was not working, so I was a bit handicapped in this run. So once you get the infested cat or the poison and you walk outside of the cave, you have to wait a couple seconds and it will mark a spot on the map you need to take that poison to, and you're going to put it into a defense objective, guys. You'll first go to the defense objective. The defense objective will have like this, like, it's in a vault. You open that vault, and then once that vault is open, you take that canister and you put it inside of the vault into the mixer. That's when you're going to use your Infested Catalyst and your Eidolon Phylaxis to increase the difficulty of the mission. So notice on the left side underneath the timer, it says 4 Eidolon Phylaxis, and I'm putting in the Infested Catalyst right now. Each of those is going to increase the number of bosses and increase the level of the enemy. So if you put max and max, you're doing the maximum difficulty possible, you'll get 3,000 reputation upon completing the mission, guys. So this part is actually the longest part of the entire mission. It's a like 3-minute defense objective, and there's no way to speed this up. So all you need to do is defend the objective from the level 20 Grenier. If you're playing Nova, that will be very simple, and there are some spawn locations for this. You can actually go fishing during this part, guys, if you want to. So, as you notice, I'm just dancing here. I'm not really having the care in the world. So here's a picture of the Nova build. So the big thing here, guys, is we're not running corrosive projection because our Sarpa is actually removing the armor of the boss with the Shattering Impact mod. So our DPS is coming from our Pyrana Prime, so Pistol Amp will give us even more damage on our Pyrana Prime. Arcane Awakening on reload will give us a chance to get increased damage for the Pyrana Prime, so we'll sometimes fish for that if we have enough time, but usually we'll be blasting through this mission so quickly it doesn't even matter. So big thing here, guys, we're looking for high range and a little bit, like, kind of okay strength. We're really not caring about duration here. It's not a very normal Nova build. And then notice how we have Handspring. Handspring is very important for this mission, guys, because you're going to be getting knocked down a ton. Whatever frame you play for this, I would definitely recommend Handspring, and I would 100% recommend Nova. The big thing with Nova here is, well, one, for this portion, she's actually really good for slowing down the Grenier, so, like, they're pretty trivial, not really attacking the console. For stage 3, which will be the drone escort mission, she is going to be teleporting the drone, actually. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that in this video. So the big thing when you're teleporting the drone is you need to actually have your portal on the ground when you cast it, and the exit location for that portal needs to be on the ground as well. Okay, so yeah, once you complete the extractor or the mixer, whatever it's called, you take it out of that console and then you go look for the spawn location of the drone. So here it is. It's marked on the map in yellow. You put the canister in there, and now this is where Nova is the god tier frame. So you can use the teleport portal for Nova and just speed up this process very quickly. I mean, you can actually use Loki for this as well, but a skilled Nova is much better than Loki for this. Let me just tell you guys. This usually takes like double the amount of time it currently is taking in this run, and that's because of Nova having her wormhole portal. And that's where the high range comes into play, guys. Okay, so once you get the drone over to the boil, it's always going to be the same spot. The boil never moves. This is where you need to start killing Infested. Killing Grenier does not count for this. You need to get that progress bar up to 25% or higher. Getting it past 25 is good, but if you can get it closer to 50, then it would be even better, guys, because when you have the full difficulty mode on like this, a boss will spawn every 25% progress. So now the boss is spawning. We're using our Sarpa to remove his armor before he gets out of there. Once he's at the end of his pathway, we cast our M Prime, Nova's fourth ability, to slow the boss down and make him take increased damage. See, we're just destroying him with our Pyrana Prime. Like I said, this is literally the first one I've done in over 6 months, guys. So this is like raw gameplay. Look at how easy this is. These enemies are level 20. I just blew a bunch of them up. I blew all those enemies up. Another boss immediately spawned. So if you can, you want to keep some ads on the map while you're killing the boss. Try to ignore the ads while you're fighting the boss, because then you will have to wait less time for more ads to spawn, because the progress bar will not go up while the boss is alive. Okay, so that's why I'm not shooting these ads. Like, some of them are dying because of the M Prime explosions. But yeah, it's best to keep ads alive while the boss is alive. So notice here I'm not killing all the ads because my M Prime will actually slow the boss down as he's walking out of the boil, which will really slow down your time. So you want to make sure you cast your M Prime when the boss gets to the end of his path, if you're using Slova. If you're using Speed Nova, you can basically just spam your but we'll be going over Speed Nova in a couple minutes once we go over team strategies. For solo strats, I'm definitely going to recommend that you use Slow Nova, which is like an increased power strength build. But for speed strats, you can, with a team, Speed Nova will work. Okay, so just shredding through him. Now that we're at 99%, the last boss is about to spawn. I actually mess up here, and I see, like, notice I casted my 4 too early. Now he's slowed down. He is not damageable until he gets to the end of his path, guys. So proper timing for your CC for this is extremely crucial for getting speedruns. Alright, once it's at 99%, you can just kill as many ads as you want, don't worry about that. Yeah, but look at this Pyrana Prime just shredding through him. We have a corrosive build on the Pyrana Prime. Let's quickly show that. So this is what a non-ribbon build for the Pyrana Prime would look like. Corrosive, crit, and now that we kill the boss, we can just go. They actually changed it so you can actually take the bounty from the plains now. So go like one of those little Kanzu huts, and you can just grab another one immediately. Really nice change they did there. And I'm pretty happy with the changes to the update. Okay, so just quickly showing the Pyrana build again. This is what you should run. Don't worry about status chance. Status chance does not matter at all for this guy. And even though we're removing all of his armor, still mod for corrosive, because corrosive it just has the best damage modifiers against this guy. And the Pyrana Prime is the strongest weapon for killing the Hemocyte. If you're not using like Titania or Mirage or something, that's what you're going to want to do. Okay, so now that we've got that out of the way, let's go over some top tier gear for running this mission. We showed you what the mission was going to look like. Here's some things that you guys should run. So there are some different roles you're going to be covering here. So like I said, Nova or Loki is great for drone teleporting. To speed up this mission the most you possibly can, guys, you're going to want to bring a Nova or a Loki. That's going to make that drone section twice as fast. You're going to be out of there getting more forma per hour than anyone else, okay? So make sure that you do that. Very important. Then the next role is basically a boss stunner. We got Haro, Rhino, Limbo. I'm sure there's other frames that work as well, but these are the main ones I'm going to recommend to you guys. Haro's chains, really good. Haro can also give you a crit buff, which will make your Pyrana Primes kill the boss even faster. So Haro's a really great choice. Rhino, similar situation. He can buff your team's damage with his roar, and his stomp attack does work on the boss as well. Okay, so but keep in mind that if you're timing your CC incorrectly and like stopping the boss when his face isn't open, you're gonna ruin the speed run. So make sure if you're playing a CC frame or a boss stunner, you know what you're doing. You know when to stun the boss, or your teammates are gonna get really mad most likely. Okay, Limbo also in the same boat. I'd say Limbo is the one that is not as useful as like Haro and Rhino because he can't buff the damage. Not like you really need the damage buff if you're using the Pyrana Prime, but you know, besides the point. Okay, then there's Titania, Mirage, and Chroma. Boss DPS. If you're using Corrosive Projection or the Sarpa, you don't really need to worry about a DPS. But you know, I just thought I'd mention that there because a lot of people like to use Titania for this mission. I think that she's completely invalidated by a good Pyrana Prime build. But you know, people don't play Titania very often, so this is like a good mission for her, honestly. Okay, and then we have a utility / armor remover. We have Oberon. So Oberon's 4 can remove armor from the Hemocyte. So you can use that. Neja's 2 actually does work on the Hemocyte as well and will buff your damage. And Neja can actually kill a bunch of ads too if you wanted to do that. Ash's Seeking Shuriken mod can fully remove the armor from the Hemocyte. Very good choice there. Then we've also got Saren. Saren can use the Venom Dose Augment mod to buff on your teammates with additional corrosive damage. And she can kill ads. Saren's a pretty decent choice. But, you know, like I said, you want to keep a lot of ads alive during the boss being alive, so Saren can kind of just be a little bit overkill and kind of mess with your speedruns sometimes. Korra is the same boat. If you're basically afraid of the ads and you want to have like some safety nets, you can put up a Korra Strangle Dome, and that will keep the ads away from you while you're shooting the boss, okay? And then, additionally, this guy drops this boss drops something called a Infested Hemocyte, I believe it's called. So if you actually have a Necros or a Hydroid doing their loot abilities on the boss when it dies, that will actually let you get additional drops for the trophies that you can make for your clan from those Hemocytes, okay? So that's just if you're trying to farm for trophies, use Necros or Hydroid. And then as far as weapons are concerned, you can bring an ad clear weapon like an Amprex, a Sobek with the Acid Shells mod, or an Ignis Wraith for ad clear. The best boss melting weapons are... for primaries, at least, Synapse is probably the top tier primary for melting the boss, guys, because it has base corrosive, and like I said, corrosive damage, that's what you're going to want to go to here. So yeah, Synapse really good. I don't have a Synapse build, but, you know, if you really want to, if you already have a Synapse Riven and stuff, you can make it work for sure. Tenora is also good. Prisma Arcata, those are good boss DPS weapons. And if you really care about the dropships during the defense portion, you can bring a sniper rifle like I did, the Rubico Prime. The Opticore Vandal will work. Basically just anything that hits hard and can shoot things from range to destroy those dropships, okay? And as far as secondaries are concerned, guys, Pyrana Prime, I consider the top tier weapon for this mission. You use it for corrosive and just take them down. Alternatively, you could use the Twin Arcata. Some people like the Twin Arcata for killing the boss. And then there's the Sancti Castanas, the Atomos, or kit guns just to kill ads, okay? So those are the main guns. And then as far as melees are concerned, the Sarpa, I consider the Sarpa very essential here if you're going for the maximum speedrun strats because you won't be using Corrosive Projection. You'll have Pistol Amp equipped to buff your Pyrana Primes even further. So Sarpa with Shattering Impact, very important. If you don't want to use that, or if like you already have somebody in your team using the Sarpa, Atarax, Zenistar, Polearm Zaw, Skoliak, just things that can kill a bunch of enemies at once, okay? So those are the top tier like frames and weapons. Let's move on to some team comp ideas. So here are some team comps, guys. Like I said, I showed a solo build. Solo build works perfectly fine, but here are some team comps for like 4 people squads. Okay, so here's like a good speedrunning strat team right here. Nova will be teleporting the drone, all that stuff. So Nova, Haro, Rhino, Titania. You can switch out Titania for like something else if you want to, maybe like a Hydroid or a Necros to get more loot. But basically, Nova, this will be a speed Nova build for this strategy. So Nova will be using her 4 to speed the boss up, his walking animation, out of the boil. That can actually save you like 30-ish seconds over the course of the run. So make sure you cast your 4 before the boss, like basically right as soon as the boss spawns, like at 25%, and he'll walk out. Make sure your Haro is ready to use his chains right when the boss gets to the end of his path and has his faces open, so you could just shoot him. Because the boss will be sped up by Nova's Prime, and yeah, that's going to work pretty well. Rhino's going to be there to buff and to also shoot. So like, here's the thing, guys. If you have a 4-person squad, you should have 1 person camping each head pretty much. There's 3 heads for this boss. The host should be camping the Corpus head, and like the other people should be camping the other 2 heads, because the Corpus head usually is the one that opens up first, and having the host camping it is good, because like a lot of times there's lag involved, just to be honest, and having the host camping the head that'll open first will save you the most time, okay? And then a secondary team comp, if you're worried about the ads, you could bring Nova, Korra, Oberon, or like a DPS, like Neja or something like that. That's another squad. Leave Shattering Impact at home. This is basically a squad where you aren't going to be using Corrosive Projection or Shattering Impact. You have Nova, and then Ash or Oberon to remove armor from the boss. Then you got Rhino, Titania. I'm just recommending Rhino and Titania just in case you want a DPS. Say you don't have the Pyrana Prime, you could use a Rhino or a Titania to like get crazy damage and just blast the boss down. And then a farming for trophies team comp would be Nova, Hydroid, Necros, Oberon. Pretty simple stuff. Oberon just there to heal Necros and Hydroid because they're a little bit squishy. Although the enemies are like only like level 20, so like who really cares? And then this is like a just for fun squad at the end. Basically defense frames for going fishing during the defense objectives spot. You get Nova, Korra, Gara, Haro. And then some quick team play advice. Nova should be played as the host, if possible, because when you're teleporting that drone, guys, if you are not the host, it can be a little bit hard to teleport it, to be honest, okay? So, keep that in mind. Also, all players should mod their weapons for corrosive. Corrosive is the best element to use for this mission, and I definitely would highly recommend it. And then, as I said, Shattering Impact or 4 corrosive projections to remove the boss armor. Very, very important, and it will make your speed run go a lot faster. And then, as I said earlier, host should camp the Corpus head, then transition to other heads, okay? And then, that's it for the team comp stuff. Let's go over some Nova tips, because like I said, Nova is very important here. This is like, I basically consider myself a Nova, maybe not expert, but I play Nova all the time. So here are some suggestions from someone that plays Nova a ton for this mission. Range is more important than duration. So that's mostly for teleporting the drone and for killing a ton of ads at the same time with explosions, okay? So that's what I would prefer on this, is prioritize range over duration, and then Speedva if you are in an organized squad with Haro and Rhino. And then when teleporting the drone, stand right in front of it. Make sure the portal, destination, and the casting point are very close to the ground, or it will not work. That's very important. If you guys want to see, again, just rewatch the solo run I have earlier in this video, and just take a look at it. Slova should not use her 4 until the boss is at the end of its path. Very important there. If you slow him down while he's walking out, it's going to take a lot longer. And then Speedva is the opposite. Cast it as soon as the boss is about to spawn. But make sure your Haro is ready to chain. Like make sure if you're in voice comms with him, be like, "Yo, Haro, I'm about to speed this guy up. He just spawned. Get in position to stun him." So keep that in mind. And then Loki can replace Nova for drone teleporter, but as I said, it's a little bit worse than a skilled Nova. So keep that in mind as well. And then with a high range build, your 1 is pretty useless. So they're only like level 20-ish enemies. So yeah, just your 1's gonna be pretty weak. So keep that in mind, guys. Very important stuff. Okay, so that is a pretty in-depth overview of strategies for this. Let's go over some of the rewards that you can get from this. First off, I'm going to be showing the Exodia Contagion and the Exodia Epidemic. So first off, we got Exodia Epidemic, which is one of the arcanes you can get from this event. So for this one, after a bullet jump or a double jump, and you slam onto the ground, it shoots a shockwave in front of you that will suspend enemies midair. This is only equipable on zaws, so keep that in mind. You cannot use this on like a Graham Prime or like a Galatine Prime, etc. So here we go. I'm going to be double jumping, and I slam onto the ground. It shoots out a shockwave that will suspend the enemies midair if it hits them. It's going to go in front of you. See that guy's CC'd midair? That's what this one does. I don't consider it very useful. I basically never use this one ever. I equipped it just to show it for the video. I haven't used this one for like over a year, to be completely honest. It doesn't set enemies up for like finishers or anything like that. It's basically just a kind of gimmicky thing that maybe you'll like it. The description makes it sound really good, and it actually does like have a pretty powerful effect. It's just not really practical in my personal opinion. So that is what Exodia Epidemic does. I'd say get it if you want, just to like have the collector's item, but really not essential. Let's go over the other arcane you can get here called Exodia Contagion. So this one, on a bullet jump or double jump and a mid-air... this one's a little bit weird. You have to be aim gliding while you're meleeing as well. It's really a little bit tedious to activate, but what this one does, it basically makes you do a grenade toss with your weapon while you are mid-air. Let's quickly display that. There's a lot of like nuances to maximize the damage with this. We're not going to be going over maximizing damage with this specific arcane in this video, but pretty much using covert lethality works. That's what I'm going to leave it at. Check out the wiki if you want the maximum damage for this. So there we go, the air glide, or aim glide, melee attack, throws a grenade at them. It can proc statuses, it can do all this kinds of stuff. But like I said, I don't think either of these arcanes is really like worth using all the time. I personally use Exodia Force over these just for the extra damage. That doesn't require me to be doing like jump attacks and all this stuff I'd never do. So yeah, but that's what it does. Take it or leave it. These guys are level 100. It's not, like I said, not a totally optimized build for this arcane, but maybe you'll like it. Who knows? It might become your new favorite item in the game. Okay, now that we've gone over both of the... Oh yeah, by the way, it does self-damage. I didn't mention that. That's self-damage right there for you. And yeah. Let's go over the zaws. So I actually have 3 different zaws for you guys today. Let's go over the Plague Kripath Polearm, which is the one that most people are going to be interested in. So here's the Plague Kripath I have. Iguana Jai 2, Stung Grip, and then the Plague Kripath Strike. We've got pretty good attack speed. Notice how our critical chance isn't extremely high. We built this specifically to not have super high critical chance because we'll be utilizing Maiming Strike with this build. We prioritize status chance over critical chance when using Maiming Strike, okay? And then this is the build I have on here. Took off the Riven. This is like what you'd basically be building, combining Blood Rush, Maiming Strike, and Condition Overload, just for the crazy damage. We got Prime Breach right here just for convenience. You could throw even more damage on if you felt like it. But yeah, let's just quickly show how it works against some level 100 enemies. And yeah, this is probably one of the best melees in the game, honestly. So look, not exactly the strongest hit for hit, but once you start using Maiming Strike, these guys just start getting chunked and chunked and chunked. This is where you get that crazy damage from. I definitely would recommend that specific build. But there's also another thing you can build with the Plague Kripath. It's a Rapier. This is not an optimal build. I'd actually recommend building a faster version of this Rapier if I were you. But we're using Vargeet Ruhang 2, Quoth Grip, and Plague Kripath Strike. It has very high critical chance, and we're not using Maiming Strike here, so you actually do want higher critical chance with the Rapier, because I don't think you're going to be using a Sly Attack Rapier, honestly. So, I'm just showing you can switch, like if you want to have less stash chance, more stash chance, you can make that decision for yourself. We're just going to quickly show how this works against these level 100s as well, just so you guys can have a full picture. I don't believe I have any corrosive projection on Sarah in here either, so this is just the raw damage what you'll be getting. Pretty good. This thing actually has very good DPS, and like I said, I would suggest building a faster version than the one I personally built. But you know, this one does work well as in addition, so it's going to be up to you. Oh, something I didn't mention about the boil, by the way, is if you stay on that big boil on the plains, you're going to die. It does a lot of damage really quickly, and I would not recommend doing that, personally. And then here is the final Zaw we're showing you. It's the Plague Kiwar Staff, and this is actually one of my favorites. So we got Iguana Jai 2, Krustra Grip, and then the Plague Kiwar Strike. This one's pretty strong. Doesn't have as much range as the Plague Kripath Polearm, but it still has really good damage. We have Maiming Strike on here. You don't need to use Maiming Strike on this thing. I think for the test, I actually don't even use Maiming Strike, if I'm correct. But yeah, you have lots of options. If you don't have Maiming Strike, you can put Berserker in that slot. You can put a lot of stuff, honestly. So this thing is pretty versatile. And then the reason I have a D polarity on there is because my Riven is a D polarity. You don't need to put a D polarity on there normally. So here we go. Just gonna do a quick test against these heavy gunners. I think there's minimal slide attacks in this test. There's one right there. Okay, we do start using the Maiming Strike. But this thing is very serviceable without Maiming Strike, honestly. I would highly recommend this one. I think it's... I personally like the Clashing Forest stance a ton. I like the mobility in it. I like how one of the stances, or one of the combos, spins the staff around inside of your enemy. I find that very satisfying. And yeah, that's basically it, guys. Hopefully you stuck with me for this whole video. Let's just quickly show the builds really quickly again. So here's the Sarpa build. Most important mod here, Shattering Impact, and then just maximizing attack speed. Don't even need Healing Return, don't even need Pressure Point. All you need is that Shattering Impact mod. And then Nova build. You can be a little bit... you get some wiggle room with the Nova build. The main thing here is Handspring and some high range. And then the final thing is just a quick Pyrana Prime build. Pretty standard stuff. Corrosive crit build. Steady hands just to control the recoil if you want to. And that is it, guys. I hope you found this video helpful. As always, please share with your friends, because I'm sure you guys are going to want to run this thing as fast as you possibly can. I know I'm going to be doing that. Maybe check out if I'm live on Twitch right now. I will be farming this a ton, because, like I said, fully built Forma. You can't complain about that. So that run took me roughly 8 minutes solo. You can knock down the time even more, guys. So an 8-minute fully built Forma, and you can just keep running as long as you have the Eidolon, Phylaxis, and the Infested Catalyst. So, yeah. I'm going to try to go for at least 100 Forma this weekend. This thing is around for 12 days, so don't need to cram it all in one weekend, but we'll see. Maybe I'll just do it anyway. So, yeah. I'll see you guys next time in the next video. I hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, peace, guys.